Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Maggie and Ferocious Mondays. Today, we'll be reviewing our first segment of our 7th episode of Maggie and the Ferocious Beast, Season 1, Episode 7A, Sunspots. In this episode, it's a lovely day at the beach, and the Beast is having so much fun when he forgets to put on his sunblock. Beast gets a beastly sunburn and turns all red. Now, this episode, I really like it, and it's really relatable. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. I love it when they go to the beach and they're just having a good time playing, doing all the fun stuff, playing in the water, playing beach ball, lounging around on the sand. Though I wish they would have made sandcastles, but it's fine. And there's this gag where Beast always he's always bothering these birds. But at one point they do get along when they're all dancing together. And at one point when they're floating on the water, and Hamilton, he has his seahorse. He has a seahorse thing. His floaty, his little seahorse floaty. And then Beast says, and I quote, I don't need a seahorse. I'm naturally buoyant. That means I'm floaty. That's really funny. That's really funny. And then Maggie keeps on telling him, don't forget to put on your sunblock. And then he keeps on getting distracted with playing in the water, beach ball, and taking a nap in the sand. And then there's a part of the episode that freaked me out. Like when he had woke up from his nap, he said he had felt warmish. Already he's like a very deep sunset orange. Honestly, he's looking like if you leave a frozen pizza in the oven for too long and it starts to get orange, and when he finally gets into the water, when he finally goes back to swim in the water, and he tries to cool himself down. Fun fact, in real life, that could actually make it worse because yeah, the water may be cold. When they first started getting into the water, they were saying, oh, it's cold. But, I mean, no matter where you go, you're still going to be under the sun. And the water, and no matter where you go, whatever part of the water in the beach you're at, as long as you're in the water, then you're still getting glazed by the sun. So obviously that's going to make your sunburn worse. And then they decide it's time to go home, and then they can't find the Beast. So then Hamilton finds him, and he mistakes Beast as a sea monster because he is a deep red. Now I'm not just talking like a red. I'm talking like a tomato sauce salsa red. He is redder than red. He is so red. He is very red. And without his and with his spots on, and at one point he sneezes, and then he sneezes his spots off, which might be a callback to the short that we had back in the 90s, the big sneeze, where he sneezes his spots off. Maggie says that you're backwards, and then he says, I look like my cousin Reggie Von Beast, which we will see him later on in the series, maybe in season 2 or season 3. I don't know. But if you want my quick opinions on Reggie, I don't really remember him, but I'm pretty sure he annoyed me. I'm pretty sure. But we'll talk about that later. And Beast's overall sunburn design it made me feel all itchy. It just made me feel so uncomfortable because he's look, like I said in my review of in the Backyardigans episode, The Legend of Volcano Sisters, I don't like to talk about this type of stuff, but he just looks like if you know, you know, horns, red. If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. He looks very HE double hockey sticks ish, if you know what I'm saying. which, oh boy, it just made me feel so uncomfortable as a kid. It made me feel so uncomfortable. And when I was and when the Beast went to go back to Hamilton and said, where's the sea monster? And then at one point he sees Hamilton screaming because of the way he looks, and he says, you don't have to, I may be a ferocious beast, but you don't have to be scared of me. It just comes to show you that even though his name is Ferocious, he still has a kind heart. He still does. So, yeah. My boy may be ferocious, but if he is a ferocious with a kind heart, don't you forget it. And they actually use like a very realistic thing. They actually, when I mean realistic, is like this thing can work, but it can't actually work for the burn itself. They use baby powder. Now, baby powder, it can't remove the actual burn itself, but it can remove, I'm pretty sure the chafing. It can remove the chafing of the sunburn. You know, like if you're starting to like peel and stuff, it can like make that, it can soothe that and make that better. But if you're wanting to soothe the actual burn, you're gonna need you'll need like very like pure moisturizers like aloe vera and like sometimes Vaseline, just to name a few. But I say go for aloe vera and Vaseline. I never got a sunburn because I've always made sure I put on some sunscreen. But there are some places where I remember, like when I was like 15. It was 15 during the summer. There was I put on sunscreen, or like you know that spray that you put on that's like sunscreen. I put that on, but the problem is I don't put enough on my nose or like on my shoulders. Like I remember, like when we went to like a pool. Like I was on a cruise, and then I was on those cruises where they stop at like different islands. And like I remember I was swimming in the pool for most of the day, but but my shoulders were out of the water. They were not in the water. They're mostly like getting like hit by the sun. So the next day I start feeling my shoulders, they're like in so much pain, like I could barely move them. If I go in the sun, it gets so irritated. It feels all like it burns. So like they had to give me like a tea towel to put on my shoulders. And also when I was 13 years old, no, when I was 14 years old, sorry for the sirens if you hear them. I remember my nose was starting to peel. Like I never got a sunburn. I peeled a lot, but I never got a sunburn, you know? Now, onto the relatability in this episode. I like this episode because, for those who don't know, and I'm not afraid to, and I'm not ashamed to say it, as much as I like, nor am I not comfortable with discussing it. I am autistic, and I do have ADHD, and sometimes my struggles with having those disabilities is getting very distracted, you know? So like I said before, I sometimes see my younger version of Beast. Like in the episode Rain Rain Come and Stay, where he wanted his specific rain boots on his specific feet. Like that was me. I talked about how the way I am, I want certain things to be in certain ways. Like for instance, with my dolls, I'll normally sort them out by series, what year they came out, stuff like that. Or like if I have like little trinkets, I'll like sort them out of like which way, like of what I had first. I'll sort them out in that type of order. Or like even like anything that's like rainbow colored, I'll sort them out by rainbow color, you know? But when it comes to this episode, seeing Beast getting easily distracted really speaks to me, because I've always remembered I was definitely, out of all the symptoms, the struggles I've had, I will happily say that getting distracted is my number one main struggle. But I will say, it's a close second when it comes to wandering off, because I sometimes wandered off a lot. And I still kind of do that now. But my parents, they have a tracking app on me. But not to the point where I'm wandering off. Like, I know where I'm going. You know? What I mean is, for this episode, Beast getting distracted. Because my parents, whenever they told me to do a specific task, they were like, come on, don't forget to do such and such. And I was like, okay. And then I get distracted with whatever I'm doing on my time. And then 5 minutes later, they have to remind me again. Don't forget to do such and such. Remember? I'm like, yeah, I remember. And then I would go on doing another thing. And then they would tell me again, don't forget to do such and such. And I was like, I haven't forgotten. And then so many hours later, either I would shock myself and be like, oh my goodness, I forgot to do such and such. Or either my parents would be like, you didn't do such and such, did you? Because I had to do it for you. And then I would be like, oh, right, I forgot. So seeing Beast in this episode, it just spoke to me because, like, you know, I too get distracted with different tasks, you know, whenever you're having fun. I mean, just because somebody's trying to tell you to do something important doesn't mean they're trying to spoil your fun. And Beast did say he didn't want to put on the sunscreen because it smelled funny. But sometimes people can tell you things. No, not sometimes. All the time. People can tell you things for all the right reasons, even if you don't want to do them. Like adults might tell us to eat vegetables. They might be nasty for us, but they'll help us grow big and strong. Adults will tell us you have to take a bath, even though we don't want to take a bath. We want to keep on playing. You have to take a bath so you can stay clean. And like for this episode, you may not want to put on sunscreen, but you have to so that your body can stay good, so that your body can stay protected in the sun, and that your body will be protected while you're still playing, you know? So I like this episode's messages. I do. You always have to make not only, I won't say I don't want to say don't be forgetful is the main message. I want to say the main message is sometimes people may tell you things that you don't want to do, but you have to do them, because not only it's good for you, but also it can help you, you know? It can help you still have fun. Nobody's trying to spoil your fun. They just want to make sure that you're safe, you know? And I like this episode. I like the beach vibes. I like Beast's relatability. I liked it all. I did. So for this episode, I'm going to give it a 9. I don't know what's stopping me from giving it a 10, but it's a 9. It's a really good episode, and I like it. I really, really, really do like it. It's a good episode. I like it. So, Sunspots, you're getting a 9. So, tune in with me next time, as we will be reviewing our second segment of our seventh episode, Season 1, Episode 7B, Say Cheese. See you all next time. Great. Googly moogly.